Have you ever noticed that there's a little switch in your mind? One that just flips in an instant and completely changes how you see things? It's this fascinating thing I call the dual vision, where you're a passionate defense lawyer for yourself, but a really tough judge for pretty much everyone else. I mean, really think about it. Have you ever made a mistake and immediately had a perfectly good reason for it, but then the next minute you see someone else do the exact same thing and you're just shaking your head? Yeah, it's something we all do, and we're going to dig into exactly why our brains are wired this way. So here's the central idea. When it's about our own actions, our mind immediately starts building a case for the defense, gathering evidence, pointing to circumstances. But the second we turn our attention to someone else, bam, the gavel comes down. The judge is in session. And this switch is so fast, so automatic, we don't even know it's happening. Let's make this real. When we decide to have a drink, our inner lawyer says, "Hey, this is just for stress relief," or "I'm just being social, it's fine." But then we see someone else doing it, and suddenly our inner judge pipes up with, "Wow, they are really messing up their life." The action is exactly the same. The verdict? Not even close. Oh, and traffic. This one gets everybody. We've all been there, right? You have to bend a traffic rule, and it's because you're late for something important. It's a total emergency, or the road design is just awful. But when another car cuts you off, well, they're a reckless, selfish maniac. It's the same pattern, just playing out on the highway. So why do we do this? What is going on? Well, it's not because we're bad people. Not at all. It's because of a really fundamental bias that's basically hardwired into our minds. We are all the hero of our own story, and that single fact, it changes everything. It really just boils down to this. You have a backstage pass to your own mind. You know your intentions, you know the stress you're under, you know the whole backstory. With all that context, of course your actions seem justified. But for other people, we don't have that pass. We're just watching from the audience, seeing their actions without any of the behind-the-scenes information. And yep, psychology has a name for this. It's called the self-serving bias. Think of it as your brain's own personal PR agent. Its main job is to protect your ego. So, our successes are because of our amazing skills, right? But our failures, oh, that's just bad luck or external factors. For others, naturally, we see it the other way around. This is tied to another big concept, the fundamental attribution error. Sounds complex, but it's super simple. When you mess up, you blame the situation. The traffic was insane, the instructions were confusing. But when someone else messes up, you blame their character. They're just incompetent or careless. See the pattern? We blame the external for us and the internal for them. And finally, we have cognitive dissonance. You know that kind of cringy, uncomfortable feeling you get when you do something that doesn't quite line up with your own values? That's it. And to get rid of that tension, it's just so much easier for our brain to invent a good justification than it is to admit we were wrong. That's our little inner lawyer working overtime, keeping things peaceful in our head. But here's the catch. Living this way, with all these biases running the show, it has a cost. Being in a constant state of judgment is exhausting. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? When your mind is covered in the dust of judgment, you can't see anyone clearly. Not them, and not even yourself. Everything just looks off. So are we stuck with this? Is there a way out? For sure. And the solution isn't to stop thinking or to stop having standards. It's about making a huge shift from judgment to something we'll call discernment. This quote just nails the difference. Judgment is like a dagger. It attacks, it hurts, it's designed to wound. But discernment, well, that's like a lamp. It doesn't attack anything. It just sheds light on the situation so that everyone can see a little more clearly. Okay, let's break this down. Judgment always attacks the person. The motive is usually to feel superior, and the result is that it just creates defensiveness and division. Discernment, on the other hand, addresses the tendency or the behavior. Its motive is to uplift, and its result is clarity and a feeling of liberation. One divides us, the other frees us. All right, so this is all great in theory, but what does it actually look like in real life? How do we start doing this? Let's talk about the path forward, a whole new way of looking at the world. A good place to start is just by looking at nature. I mean, no two rivers curve the same way. No two trees grow perfectly straight. Nature doesn't just tolerate all this diversity and imperfection, it actually thrives on it. That's what makes it so resilient. So it begs the question, why do we demand this impossible standard of uniformity from each other? This leads us to a kind of inner journey. We all start at judgment. It chops our world into simple boxes of right and wrong. The next step is inclusiveness, where you start to see the bigger picture, all the shades of gray, and that can eventually lead to acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean you approve of bad behavior. It means you liberate your own mind from the constant burden of being angry and disturbed. This points to a deeper idea, sometimes called the Shiva principle. What if real power isn't about attacking the person? What if it's about helping to dissolve the illusion or the ignorance that's causing the problem in the first place? Instead of punishing someone, you're helping to liberate them. That's a huge shift in perspective. So let's end with this. The goal isn't to pretend flaws don't exist. It's to realize that the lawyer in you, the judge in you, the good and bad in others, it's all part of the same messy, complicated human reality. Wholeness isn't achieved by having one side win. It's achieved by accepting that both sides are there. Which leaves us with a final thought. What would change for you if you could stop judging one half against the other and just accept the whole?